Good day, everyone. Today we're going to talk about innovative techniques in writing poetry. As the world progresses, the world of literature and creative writing also progresses. Modern day creative writers have decided to experiment with poetry. This act has enabled the current generation to appreciate fresh and original ways of writing poems. Literature has greatly evolved because of them, and once again, the gateway of literary appreciation welcomes a new set of people who preserves this art form. Truly, there are a lot of innovative techniques in poetry writing. This lesson will let you discover some of them. But before that, let me ask you this question. What are some of the innovative features of poetry writing? How can we use them to create a fresh and original poem? I only have here three examples of innovative features in poetry writing, but there is a lot. I only just have here three. So first is imagery and sensory language, using vivid and descriptive language to create powerful images in the reader's mind. Second, metaphor and simile, comparing two unlike things to create new meanings and connections. Third one is alliteration and assonance, repeating sounds to create musical and rhythmic effects. So, how can we use them to create a fresh and original poem? We can use them to create a fresh and original poem by combining innovative features like imagery, metaphor, and personification with unique perspective and sensory details.
Today, I'll talk about some different types of poetry that we should know. Let's start. So, first is found poetry. So, this is a type of poem where you use words that are already out there, not words you wrote from scratch. So, they can come from newspapers, magazines, books, or even ads. The idea is that you find interesting words and put them together to make a new poem. It's like discovering hidden poetry in things around you. For example, if a newspaper says, the sky cleared after the storm, giving hope the morning, you can turn it into a poem like this. After the storm, hope rose in the morning sky. So, in simple words, it's basically a poem you make by choosing words from other sources and turning them into your own poem. So, you find you choose words from other sources and you will turn them into your own poem. So it's like that you're getting ideas from other sources, then you will make a new one and turn them like into your own poem. So now let's talk about that blackout poem, this erasure poem. So what's the difference between blackout poem, this erasure poem? So both are existing texts, but they are made differently. So a blackout poem is when you take a page of text and color over the words you don't want. The words you leave show up as your poem. It often looks cool because the rest of the page is blacked out. Think of it like highlighting only the important words, while an unsure poem is a bit different. Instead of coloring the words, you erase or remove the words you don't want. Only the words you choose are left, and the pages looks clean. So, in simple words, blackout is to cover the words, or erasure. You cover it. Blackout is you cover it. While the erasure, you delete the words, and it's easy to remember. So the blackout is you just cover it, while the erasure, you totally delete the words from the poem. So the remaining left is the chosen poem that you let's day. So now let's move on to the micro poetry. So what is micro poetry? So this one is pretty simple. It's just a very short poem. Sometimes it's only 1 or 2 lines, but it still has meanings. Even though it's short, it can express an idea, a feeling, or an image. For example, the stars blink, a quiet reminder to breathe. So basically, micropoetry is a very short poem that still has a message. So now let's move on to the slam poetry or the spoken word poetry. Or yeah. This type of poetry is meant to be performed. After writing your poem, you get to read it on stage in front of an audience. And the poetry slam, you don't just read it, you perform it. You use your voice, facial expression, and body movements to bring the poem to life. When performing, a poet should speak clearly so everyone understands, show emotion so that audience feels it. Use gestures and movements that match the poem. Be confident on stage and don't rush. Let your words sink in. So, slam poetry is a poem you perform on stage using your voice and actions. Finally, the prose poetry. There's prose poetry. This is a poem that looks like a paragraph. It doesn't have the usual line breaks like a regular poem. But even though it looks like normal writing, it still has poetic qualities like imagery, rhythm, and emotion. It mixes prose and poetry. For example, the rain whispered on the window, each drop carrying a memory I almost forgot, reminding me that even quiet moments can be loud with meaning. So, prose poetry is that looks like paragraph but still feels like poetry. So, what are the type? There are how many types of poetry? First is the found poetry. Next is the micro poetry. Next is slam poetry or spoken poetry, and the prose poetry. It's the total of 4 poetries. So remember that 4 poetries. And that's it. Those are the main types of poetry we talk about today.
Other and both innovated form of poetry. First one is Feb, a 6-line poem that is driven from the mathematical concept known as the Fibonacci sequence. For example, blue sky, birds glide, wings touching the winds, dancing softly in the morning light. Second is Bob, a 3-stanza poem that presents and expands a problem, then provide a solution to it. Meaning a poem with 3 stanza. Like the first stanza show the problem, the second stanza expand the problem, the third stanza give the solution. Each stanza end with the repeated lines. For example, I feel tired today. Too many things on my mind. My step feels slow and heavy. Why is life so hard? Tasks keep piling up. The world seems too loud and fast. I can catch my breath. Why is life so hard? I pause and breathe deeply, taking one step at a time, finding calm in small moments. Why is life so hard? Is Breeze, a 50-line poem that contains short but concrete praise. The content of each line is determined by the word that appeared on the previous line, meaning to say a 50-line poem made of quick, short phrases. Each line uses a word from the previous line. For example, rain falls, falls softly, softly touching flower, flowers walking, walking slowly, slowly shining, shining bright, bright morning, morning light. Next is Loon, known as the American haiku, a three-line poem that has a 3-5-3 syllable count, meaning a short poem like a haiku with 3 to 5 syllables. For example, light winds blow, dancing through the quiet trees. They begin, and the haiku, a poem of 6 syllables in 3 lines of 1, 2, and 3, meaning a 3-line poem with a 1, 2, and 3 syllables. The total of the syllables is 6. For example, moon blows soft across the sea. Next is Traversen, a 6-stanza poem. Each stanza is a sentence that is divided into 3 lines. Each line should have 2 to 4 sets of poetic feet. For example, the sunset paints the edge of the sky with warm fading light. Then the next is Monotetra, a poem written in quatrains. Each stanza is a monorime, and each line is written in a tetrameter, meaning is a poetic written in a quatrains, 4 lines. All lines is each stanza must rhyme and follow the tetrameter or 4 beats. Just for example, the river shines beneath the night. Its surface glows with the silver light. The stars above are calm and bright. A peaceful, gentle sight. And the last one is Seven Ling, a poem with the 3 stanza. Each of the first 2 stanza contain 3 lines. The third stanza is a single lines that act as a summary of the poem, meaning to say a 7-line poem. The first line and the first stanza has a the 3 line is stanza 1. 3 lines in stanza 2. Final lines as a summary. For example, she collects quiet memories, written poem in a soft colors and loves the sounds of the rain. He wakes early each morning, walks slowly through the garden, and hums old familiar song. Together, they live in a quiet harmony.